I was a
Mm.
stockbroker. So
Right.
I worked for kind of one of the big name banks
Mhm.
and helping big institutional investors understand what type of investments they should make, working with our own research analysts to understand what calls in the market they're making and how we can kind of tell a story on some big name companies in a direction that they're going in. And it was quite an exciting job, and it was very fast moving. And so I probably already ticked a few boxes in the first job in terms of fast paced storytelling. But after 3 years, I was like maybe not quite the right fit.
Sure. When you said the but there, what happened after the 3 years, or was it like an ebbing, like day by day? It was like the weights just got heavier in a way.
Yeah, I think it was that thing of everything's every day's different, and yet every day is the same at the same time. So there would be news in the markets, results season, new kind of stories on companies coming out. Our analysts will come up with new takes on the direction certain sectors and companies are going in. And, in some ways it was interesting. And then in some ways it just started to become quite monotonous and quite samey. And then I think I felt like quite quickly I was plateauing. And I guess I have this low boredom threshold or high boredom threshold, however you put it. I just feel like I need to be constantly moving, and I think I just got to the point by year three that I was like, this. I don't think this is going to change, no matter how senior I become, and I need to do something else.
3 years. I mean, 3 years is quite a quick turnaround to kind of come to those conclusions, though, isn't it? So I guess you didn't waste that much time down that pathway.
Yeah, that's quite. I think that's quite an interesting take because the first year was working in different parts of the bank, so there was that variety and there was that element of figuring stuff out. And so by second year, it was kind of first time really getting into a job as an adult
Yeah.
and just kind of enjoying the life of I'm taking home a salary and I live in London and this is
Yeah.
cool. I think by year three, it was like, okay, there was probably an element of that self-discovery that was starting to come through and that introspection and some of the questions of, do I enjoy this? Does this make me happy? Am I satisfied? And I think I
Mm.
started having more difficult conversations with myself when I was waking up and thinking, oh, okay, I'm not, I don't hate going in, but I'm not excited by the prospect.
Yeah.
And I think for a time that was fine. Maybe I accepted that as normal, but then I didn't want to accept it as normal.
I mean, that's fair enough. But like I said, I think it's still very, very quick to kind of come to that conclusion, unless your job and your future career. Sometimes you can kind of sense from day one that I've made a huge mistake. People can quite often shuffle along for 10 years because it's an easy thing to do. You can kind of go to the next phase. You're used to your income, you're used to the kind of the lifestyle, not saying it's lavish or not, but you're just used to the fact that you've got an income, you're going to do on a Friday night or a, Tuesday night. And that is the lot in life that people have for themselves. And, but again, I just think 3 years is a great point to, is immature. I'm not sure mature, but I'm impressed in a way that after 3 years, you're like, let's take the next step.
I
Or
think
let's pivot.
I think there was also a kind of a lot of personal stuff I was going through as
Sure.
well. And so when I think back to the journey I went on from school through university and through to work, I think there was this bigger unraveling of a lot of walls and layers that I had to build up in order to conform. So I went to an all boys Catholic school. I'm gay, and it's super fun. And there was a lot of, I guess, strategic maneuvering. How do I keep people happy? How do I stop people bullying me? There was just a lot of worrying about other people and
Yeah.
fitting in and trying to suss out the standard. And so
Sure.
I subscribed to a lot of those things. And so I think from a career perspective, I was starting to get to the point where I was like, I don't have to pretend anymore. I don't have to
Oh
pretend
yeah.
to
Yeah.
be this person or fit in.
Yeah.
And so when I started realizing that in a very personal dimension, it eventually got to the kind of professional level where I thought, I don't have to do this job anymore. I don't have to do this
Yeah.
to impress other people. I'm not impressing myself. And that's when you unlock something or you open up
Mm.
something and and confront yourself. And so that was all happening very much at the same time. And it may, I mean, I haven't really thought about this before, Kobe, but it probably did speed up my journey to getting to that point of, well, okay, if I don't have to pretend to do this and that, then I also don't have to pretend to love my job. So like, let's just get on with it.
And that helps to unlock in my head where your head was at, because I think what happens a lot I see is that people, they're in school, then they go to university, and that helps them to blossom a bit.
Yeah.
But then there's still kind of a walls around you. You're kind of supported by your parents. You kind of supported. You have to go through the system, and then when you leave, you start a new job. Were you from London, I guess, or were you from a different place before?
No, so I grew up in the Channel Islands. I grew up in Jersey.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
sure.
Islander.
Yeah.
Went to university in Edinburgh, and then moved down to London after that.